Skip said, "Ain't you Muslim?"
Yo, that was wild.
That's crazy.
So we back to see what the Joe Budden podcast, including Joe Budden, who's off of vacation, had to say about this Fox Sports lawsuit involving Skip Bayless and Joy Taylor, and of course, the illustrious Hairstylist. Make sure you like the video and subscribe. Let's get it.
The Hairstylist and the MUAs know the tea.
Everything.
Yes,
For
they do.
sure. Everything.
Yes.
It is their job and gig to know the tea, and that's across the board. So,
And they microphone the makeup room at Fox Sports. So they literally, they're recording at all times. That's why Skip, and they say in the lawsuit, Skip was like, the room is bugged. So he would text her or allegedly or try to talk to her outside of the makeup room because that's where all the
spy cameras are.
Exactly.
It seemed to open up the conversation about how statistically how many women actually take advantage of, the abuse and power and being a part of the system and sleeping their way to the top. This is now being made to... Women are being made to seem like this is a regular occurrence and this is what a lot of women do. And I don't agree with that.
I don't think a lot of women do it. I think
some women do it.
I think the system makes successful.
But
women
I think
have to do it
there's
too
such
much.
such a risk involved with doing it because you can fuck a motherfucker and then he said, you know what, I'm not going to give you shit.
I give you an example.
I give you example. We know this. At the beginning of time, a woman would throw her weight around, and the weight would be the vagina. If a man is not really giving into her intellect or what she could bring to the table, women throw pussy around in these offices.
I disagree. I disagree. I give you a perfect example. Right, when I worked at Fox News, I worked on. Can I say this? Can I say this? Yeah, I can say this. I worked on the O'Reilly Factor with Bill O'Reilly. Right,
Trader.
I was on the visiting team. I was the one to argue it, and I would come on and see these different, very articulate, attractive, conventionally attractive blonde white women debating him, and they all had regular spots. And as the years went on, almost all of them that I knew sued him for sexual harassment and said that the only way they could get that job was either to have sex with Bill. I'm sorry, they sued Fox, not Bill. Some sued Bill, some sued Fox. And they said it was either to have sex with Roger Ailes, to have sex with Bill O'Reilly, all these people. Were they qualified? Yes. Were they talented? Yes. But there were a lot of people who also were qualified and talented. So out of 100, maybe the 4 made it to the top. So 96 women, to Mel's point, don't do it. But the 4 that do are the 4 that won. And that's part of the system. So most women don't sleep their way to the top.
I didn't say I said some, sorry.
But then your math is off. Because wouldn't you only need to look at the women that made it to the top?
Exactly.
And not the entire field.
To determine what?
To determine how many of them slept their way to the top versus how many of them
the rest of the field don't get to the top.
Because they don't get to the top.
Right, but
you just
I don't presume that everybody. I don't presume that everybody at the top has slept their way. I'm saying just in that particular case.
But your percentages, it wouldn't be 96 didn't. It would be how many women are at the top, and now how many of those.
I'm sorry, I wasn't clear. I'm saying that there were lots of women who appeared on the show. The 4 are the ones who got a regular spot. They all appeared. They all were TV people. So they're all in the business. But I'm saying to get to the best jobs and the top of the top, those are the ones I think that are often getting plucked out to do things.
Do you think that the women that do get to the top, they go in there with the intent of, I know what he wants, I know what I have to give him to get here?
I'll tell you this, I don't know. I can tell you, I've just having, in my own personal experience, having dated women in the business.
Yeah.
When they come home, I know the stories they tell me about what
they endure.
What they endure.
Yeah. I heard that as well. Okay.
And it's actually rare that I don't hear some inappropriate shit. If we had a makeup artist here, and that person,
which clearly we don't.
It's
very clear. It couldn't be more obvious that we do not. But
if I did something inappropriate to that makeup artist, and then they go to you or Joe or Mel or somebody and say, "Yo, Mark did this," and she said, "Yo, don't say shit. This will fuck up your job." Blah 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 blah. That's a power dynamic. That's wrong. It's not just an opinion. That's wrong.
That's not true. And I want to sound like a creep. Yo, it's wrong for somebody to do that to you.
Yes.
Now, if you come to me as a friend and say, yo, Parks did XYZ to me, I'm gonna quit. As your friend, I might say, yo, dog, you have children. Yo, dog, you have a mortgage. Yo, dog, you just got engaged. You have all of these things.
Right.
Don't make an emotional, irrational decision without thinking it through.
But that's apples and oranges.
Or
No, it is because we're peers. If a makeup artist does it, the host has the ability to decide whether the makeup artist works or not. It's a power dynamic. It would that's why it's not apples to apples. You see what I'm saying?
Point. That's a great point.
That's all I'm saying.
I wish that fucking your way to the top for women were more popular today than putting essay on men, because that's been the game for the last for the last, I want to say, post-pandemic. Since pandemic, it seemed like some women can just throw a lie on you.
And it sticks.
It sticks. Your career's ruined. I get my nut of this money, and we go.
I got a little pushback.
Give it to me.
And you know, I usually
give
ride
it to me.
on this. That's kind of the get back.
The pendulum swinging the other way now.
Yeah, like y'all have had all of this power for all of these decades, and now we getting a little bit of the power back.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was another way.
It's
This really bothers me.
I wish there was another way for
Why
me
it
to get
bothers you, man?
It bothers me because the real losers in this situation are actually victims of sexual assault. These are the only losers in this particular situation, because the very, very few cases where a woman does what Joy is alleged to do or had been planning to do or carried out, these are the ones that make the big fucking headlines, and everyone's like, see, look, the pendulum swing too far in the other direction.
Yep.
Me Too was fucking bullshit. This is what bitches do. And it's like, no, it's not. Okay, there's a few fucked up apples in the bunch of women that were actually victims, and this does nothing to help their cause. And that's what really frustrates me with this particular part of this.
I agree with
kind of
everything you're
conversation.
saying. I'm just saying that the few is bigger than what we say.
We'll never, ever, ever have like a full grasp of what the statistics actually are. We'll just never know.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
Go look at Skip new followers.
Put some pine sol in that thing. You liar.
Go look. They was like, how much?
Give it out 1.5. That bitch is in like.
So all y'all would give it up for 1.5?
They were giving up for a fucking apple pie.
See?
Okay.
Nigga, we saw you after the fake lotto game. You would give it up for 1.5. Yeah, enough for you. All y'all niggas would.
Oh, no, I would.
We seen you.
I absolutely would.
Okay.
Look,
Okay. So
look,
clear.
if Skip catch me on the right day right now, I'm like,
Nah, the funny shit, they said Skip said, ain't you Muslim?
yo, that was wild.
That's crazy.
Yo,
3-4 wives?
Yo, and shout out to y'all. Right? There's mad girls out there that offer me some pussy to get a pod. A pod deal. Hey, come up here for a second. We shitting on them?
Nah, no shit on them.
Oh, I'm about to say.
Get to it, mama.
I'll
Get
walk out.
to it.
Bitches will give it up to come pod.
Man, girls was fucking a promoter in the club.
Yes,
What?
What we talking about?
Yes.
To get to the front of the line, national TV.
Yeah, talk about it.
Listen, my heart goes out to Joy Taylor. I do think it's a shame that she's getting dragged more than Skip.
I think that's a
I
shame.
agree with that.
I think
She should not be getting dragged more.
That's the
than Skip.
patriarchy. That's the patriarchy. Skip is just getting these jokes like, oh, this nigga paying out $1.5 million for pussy. But like, if Skip was one of the most powerful people at FS1. If he did what he was alleged to do, his shit to me is
Niggas pay for pussy, yo. Like, enough.
Yeah, but you can't pay your employees for pussy.
Niggas pay.
You can't.
Nigga, you be married for mad long. You go through mad shit. If shit could come in easy, just go ahead and pay.
Then get a sex worker. I'm not against sex worker. I'm
But
saying
the sex,
you don't fuck.
They are sex
There's no
workers.
thrill in sex.
No.
Hold on, listen. There's no
What
thrill.
the fuck are you talking
Here's the
about?
truth, Mark.
They
Mark,
work for
listen.
you. You can't fuck the people that work for you.
They got
There's no
two
thrill.
jobs.
Listen.
If I work in TV, I can't fuck.
There's
my
no
employees.
thrill.
They moonlighting by the moonlight.
Wait, listen. There's really no.
Your employees.
There's really no thrill in somebody that gives it up easy. Like sometimes the chase is good, nigga.
You ain't
like,
hear what he said
not
in
with
in the suit. The Skip says, the more you say no, the more I want you.
Yeah. That's
It's
the
the
beginning
chase.
of time, nigga.
Nigga, that's
It's
predatory.
wrong. It is wrong.
Yes.
Yes, we know predatory and all that shit. But listen, niggas pay for sex, bro. Niggas
Aaliyah
pay
said,
for,
if at
niggas pay
first
for
you
a
don't
good
succeed,
time.
dust
Niggas
yourself
Stop
off
it.
and try again.
Niggas
No.
pay not to have a headache. There's a lot of shit niggas pay for.
But why they
That's a
gotta work
headache.
for you? I'm not saying don't pay for
Because
pussy.
it's
I have no issue with
because
people
you're
who
not going outside, nigga. It's convenient. You right there. It's convenient. You look good. You in my face. Listen, I got 1.5. If you
This
shut
is-
the fuck up, give me some pussy, whatever you want.
Nobody
That's
wants to
it.
stop him?
Is that it?
You think that's
Why
okay?
should I be stopped? Because it's the truth. It happens.
No one is saying it don't happen. We're saying it's wrong that
Relax,
it
Mark.
happens.
A lot of aggression. Listen.
I don't want no smoke, bro. I'm just saying.
It's not supposed to happen, but that's life, Mark. That's all I'm saying. You acting like it's foreign. I was wrong. Yes, it's wrong, nigga.
Yeah, it's
this shit
fucked up.
been happening since Cleopatra days, nigga.
I don't even know what the fuck that means.
But since the beginning of the time.
We making it normal. I'm
You
saying we
thought
don't.
Marilyn Monroe was the greatest actress?
Exactly.
She actually was a pretty.
She was a good actress, but you thought Marilyn
Know what
Monroe.
else she was great at?
She said happy birthday to the president in front of nigga wife,
Know
nigga.
what else she was great at,
His
big dog?
wife was
She's a
right
great
there,
vocalist.
Mark.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Marilyn Monroe sang happy birthday while the nigga wife was there, nigga.
It's the president.
Timeless classic.
Nigga. She ain't give a fuck.
My heart goes out to all parties involved.
Indeed.
Shout out to the hairdresser spilling that tea. Ooh, when
spilled the shit
the
out
tea
that
is
tea.
hot. When the tea get hot, all you got to do is talk to the hairdresser.
Not shout.
That's it.
That shit was
Not
peppermint
shout out
tea,
to her.
nigga. Fuck the limp.
Wait, why not shout out to her? For blowing the lid off of this fucking organization, this ring they got
And she
going.
lost her job.
Don't bring Shorty into that.
Well, she got smoked with Shorty. That's all I read from that.
Yeah, don't bring Shorty into that. You could do all of that with the entity, with the network, with all of that without bringing Joy into that.
Nah, I got
And
smoked
she,
with her.
I disagree.
and she possibly could have like left her name like,
One of the, she
Blank.
got 25.
Blank.
She got 25
Anonymous.
John Doe's on there as well.
but yet,
The joy,
yeah.
the
Can't
joy,
leave that
the
anonymous.
joy stuff adds to the credibility of her story.
Right.
All right, so shout out to the podcast crew for another great episode on a very controversial topic. Shout out to the JBP. As usual, they talked about this for over an hour, so I want to encourage y'all to go check out the full version of the podcast. I just try to give y'all some of the clips that I think are important and that I actually want to talk about myself. They left off by saying, that the hairstylist could have left Joy off of the lawsuit. But as you heard Joe say at the end, adding Joy adds to the credibility of her story. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's what he said. And that's because she's painting a picture to say, here's a woman who I thought was my friend. And she worked for this organization, and even she didn't help me. The woman who brought me in to be her hairstylist didn't give a fuck about these men being inappropriate with me at the workplace, okay? Now, let's rewind to the beginning of the clip because I missed that part about the, I guess, hairstylist room or the makeup room. The room where they get prepared at and they, glossing up, polishing everybody for camera. I didn't know that room was mic'd up. And so Skip was allegedly trying to give his advances to this woman, secretly and out of that room where it was a lot of these microphones. I didn't know that part. I missed that whole part in the 42 pages. But y'all know these things break. I'm trying to get this information to y'all fast. So, every little detail I might not have. But also, going back to this as well, they started talking about whether or not if you were in that situation and, your hairstylist / friend, because look, Joy was bringing the hairstylist to the club. They was getting drinks with Mr. Dixon. So they had to have some type of relationship outside of work. Was Joy telling the hairstylist, let it go, her way of helping her? And would a lot of women or people in that situation do the same? So I think it was Ish who brought up a point where it's like, okay, maybe I tell you, look, don't throw your career away for something you might regret later. Because unfortunately, it is people who have overlooked that type of treatment in the workplace and, ended up excelling. So was Joy trying to help her, saying like, look, I know this happened to you, but maybe you don't want to cause a fuss because it might be hard for you to get jobs. These are powerful people. They might ruin your reputation. So I guess that's another way of looking at it. But I still think all in all, if Joy was moving like that, to me, it seems like she was more looking out for herself because I think she knew if that girl whistle blew, like she's doing right now in this lawsuit, she would most likely be implicated too. Because look what the outcome was, right? How could the hairstylist tell this story without mentioning Joy? And then that leads her to talking about, well, Joy is sleeping with Mr. Dixon. She's sleeping with her co-host. She's meeting him outside for drinks. Like, if you get into the hairstylist story, it could just lead you back to Joy. And I think that's why Joy was personally just trying to look out for herself if all of these allegations are true. Now, then you had a whole issue that Melissa brought up where it's like, okay, everybody's talking about the part where Joy said, if Mr. Dixon isn't useful anymore, I'll just say he forced himself on me. And she felt like, well, that cast a bad light on the women who are actually victims. And I think that's another part why the hairstylist wanted to bring that up. Like, here's a woman who's faking like, or who is willing to fake like she's a victim versus me. I'm actually a victim. Skip actually offering me 1.5, talking about I'm Muslim, talking about my father, people touching my butt, rubbing up against my breasts and all this other stuff. And you got this woman who's excelling and moving up the company. She's in a way better position than me. And she got the audacity to almost say, well, I'll make up some shit if shit don't go my way. Meanwhile, I'm the hairstylist. I'm trying to do it the right way, and I'm going through all of this shit. Which takes me back to my last point, where it's like, look, why would Joy encourage this girl to speak up when she knows she's so involved in this situation? And going back to Melissa's point, I understand that this is an example for a lot of people to take and say, look, the Me Too movement is a bunch of bullshit. Look how some women will act. But I still think there is a thing where two things could be true. I do think it's some men that will look at this situation and they will downplay some of the real victims out there. But I do think it's also a lot of men who do understand that there's a lot of victims in the workplace who are females. But at the same time, I think some men feel like women, or just, I guess you could say feminists, or whoever these people who want to defend women in the workplace, I think some men feel like that the other side downplays how many women lie and use their power or their words to incriminate men for false accusations and things that didn't happen. And I think that's the thing. I think both sides feel like they aren't heard. I think it's a lot of men that want to cause awareness, like, please do not forget some of these women be lying, to just say it frank. They be lying. And then I think a lot of the women still want to say, hey, but don't act like there aren't real victims. And I just think that's a back and forth that will be around forever until one side feels satisfied. Now, do all women use their bodies to excel? I saw that being a conversation within the podcast as well, and Melissa said, yes, some women do it, but not all of them. And I still think that's not even just a gender thing. I think it's some men who use their good looks, sexuality, might be swinging a little tool. Look, and not even just in the straight world, okay? We hear a lot about the entertainment industry, and people say it's a lot of LGBTQ members in the industry. So a lot of these men is getting down and giving up pussy for opportunities. Let's not be, let's just tell it how it is. That's going on. So, once again, let's not shine a light over here and act like these other people ain't doing it. It's a lot of people getting down for opportunities, and I think there are certain people who are capable of it. And I think where shit gets misconstrued is, is the accusation that everybody's down for that. Every man ain't down to go, look, I'm not trying to, put nothing on Diddy.
Hey, no Diddy, man. No Diddy.
But every nigga ain't down to go party with Diddy for an opportunity. Every female ain't down to go party with, some big time this or that for opportunity. And I do think that's where a lot of the shit gets misconstrued because, everybody can't put themselves in that situation and walk out and be okay. That's why a lot of people who've done that, they end up deleting themselves. They end up being depressed. They end up being drug addicts, and they might, have got the success that they was looking for. But what does life look like after that? And we in a time where we've seen that so many times, I think a lot more people are cautious these days. Okay, so they say Skip offered 1.5. And, it leads back to another conversation, which is it okay to have these type of relationships in the workplace, right? And I think this was really funny for them to touch on this on the Joe Budden podcast, because in the past, people have tried to bring up, things about Joe and try to act like he was being inappropriate in the workplace. I remember it was a female podcast, and I remember listening to the incident where the woman said, "Oh, Joe did this and that," and I remember thinking to myself, and look, this could be wrong of me to say, but I was like, I don't even think this woman is Joe's type. We've seen Joe for years deal with certain type of women. Maybe Joe was just being nice, but there is this thing about what's appropriate in the workplace. Do you make certain type of jokes? Should you even indulge in certain conversation or even a full-fledged relationship in general? And I'm still on the side of, if you the boss and you got shit to lose, look, you don't have to be the boss. You could just be in Skip Bayless's position. You can be in Joy Taylor's position. You could be, some talent that's really making a lot of money. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think people should put themselves in that position. And I don't think it's nothing wrong with keeping your personal life out of your business life or your professional life. It's not worth it. And I'm not saying I haven't dibbled and dabbled, but I learned my lesson. And unfortunately, it's a lot of people who had to learn their lesson in court. I know so many people, if they didn't have evidence and they didn't have shit on this phone, because some people delete shit off this phone. I remember particularly somebody was working in the workplace and it was a woman and they was giving him advances, and next thing you know, shit went up the ladder and she was saying, "Oh, he did this to me and he did that to me." And by the grace of God, when they went to court, he pulled out that phone, he had the evidence, and he was able to get off of that. But it's a lot of people that ain't that lucky sometimes. Don't put yourself in a position where you got to learn your lesson at court, where you got to learn your lesson when you sitting in jail, when you got to learn your lesson because you got fired or you got kicked out of school or you got kicked out of some program. Now you kicked off your basketball team or your volleyball team. That shit goes up and down from every fucking thing you can be a part of. It's never good to shit where you eat. And I'm going to preach that for the rest of my life. When I had kids, I'm going to tell them the same fucking thing. So, I appreciate y'all for listening to me yap. Let me know what y'all think about this, man. Shout out to the JBP. Like the video and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.